Okay, so next we have version control, and if you guys aren't familiar with GitHub, they have well, Onshape basically copy what GitHub has, and basically a bunch of people can contribute to some singular code, and they can add different code to it, but it's like a timeline, right? So you can see like all these different code adding additions based on date, and then you can see descriptions and stuff, titles, and then a bunch of people are just contributing to a single timeline, right? So that's basically what's going on here in Onshape, and I think a good example of that is to just bring up the robot. Yeah, I'm going to open that, and in the meantime, I'm just going to create my own document just to show you an example of what this looks like. So I have here, if it'll just load. Yeah, okay. And then over here, yeah. So we have the robot and then my own little space over here. So if you look on the left over here, top left, versions and history, you can see that we have started our timeline. So this is the start, and then this is currently what our workspace is. So this is our workspace, and we don't have any changes, so it's just saying 0 changes. So let's change that. So I'm going to real quick just, I don't know, make a cylinder, I guess. So I'm just going to make a cylinder like this, and let's say this is my design, and I want to make a version of it because I don't know if when I'm adding on to this cylinder, I don't know if it's going to be what I want it to be, if that makes any sense. So like, I'm going to create a version here, and I'm going to call it version 1. Make sure to add a description, guys. Always add a description, or it'll come to bite you in the ass later on. Add cylinder. So let's do that, and then add. So now that's version 1. So notice how if I click version 1, I can't edit it because versions are view only, but it's basically like documentation. It's keeping track of what I've done based on past versions. So that's version 1. So if I go back to my workspace, which will always have the gray highlight next to it, which indicates a workspace, which is where you can actually edit stuff. So let's say I want to edit this and, I don't know, make another cylinder on top of it. I don't know, like that, right? So now we have a blue and a gray stack on top of each other. Let's say that is my new design now for something, and I'm going to create a new version of it, and I'm going to call it version 2, another cylinder. And then we'll click create. So now we have 2 versions over here. So version 1 was just the blue cylinder, right? But then if I go to version 2, it's now the blue and gray cylinder, which is pretty cool. And versions save literally everything. So if I have like 50 assemblies and part studios here, it'll save everything. So notice how in our robot, which looks a lot more complicated, our versioning, in fact, this might take a while to load, but oh yeah, so we started off with this, and then we slowly moved our way up. See, it shows that new stuff has been added on to our different files over here, which are assemblies and then part studios. And then you can keep we can just keep adding on to this, right? And then it just changes over time, right? So this is actually how our robot started off with. We started off like this, and then slowly but surely we got somewhere in this CAD journey. I remember working on this. So yeah, you can just see the documentation for all of the edits that we made over the months that we worked on this. And it's pretty important to do that because let's say this is the design I have and I don't like this design. Rather than deleting it, which you definitely could because this is simple, right? But what happens if you need to delete like a whole subassembly on this robot and then make a new one? Rather than doing that, you can just go back to the previous version, right click, and then create branch workspace. So now you're creating a branch. You can call this B1, I guess, and then description, I want to change this thing. Right, so now we have a new branch that's different from our main timeline, or our main branch. I'm going to stop saying timeline now because you guys get it, but it's actually called branch. So this is our main branch, and this is our side branch. So in our side branch, we have here an exact duplicate of the main workspace, but this time, what we change here won't affect the main branch. So I'm going to delete this extrude over here, and then maybe I'll just extrude from the bottom. And then, I don't know, make it a different color this time, red. And I'm like, you know what? And this is the better design compared to the gray one. So I like this better than the gray one. So if we go back to main, notice how we still have the blue and gray design cylinders, I guess. And then over here in our branch, we have the red and blue cylinder. And let's say you like this one more. So the reason that we wait, before that, I'm gonna create a version over here. I'll call it change cylinder. Don't worry about the spelling. It's okay. So let's say I like this design more than my main one. Then I can just go ahead, go back to right click on main. So I'm in the workspace B1, and I'm going to right click on the main workspace. Notice how the highlight will tell you what the workspace is. Merge into current workspace. So what I'm basically saying is the changes in my B1 side branch are now going to replace everything in main. Well, yeah, you can have a replace or keep. I'm just going to do keep. Or wait, replace. Wait, B1 is already up to date with main. Oh, no. I meant the other way. I'm merging B1 into main. So then there you go. So now you can see that B1 is going to replace everything in main. So if I do that, notice how we have this cool little bridge that formed. And now if you see, my main branch has now turned into what was originally in my B1 branch. So now I'm saying, okay, this is the design we're finally going with. That's great. We're sticking with this. So that's basically what's going on over here for our robot. So if you notice, this might take a bit to load. Version 18, I don't actually know what's going on over here, but if this will load, Onshape takes a while to load versions just because it's in like a slower server compared to the workspaces. So this is not version 18. There's no way this was, yeah, okay. So this was version 18. I'm like, there's no way. So this was version 18, and we didn't like something on here. And I'm pretty sure these versions were about this belt design in the back over here. So instead of trying to delete it all, changing it all, we made a branch, and then we started working on that branch instead. And then we merged it back to main. So if I go to like the most end part of the branch, we'll see that nothing changed. Maybe I did something. Oh no, it's loading. Okay. Yeah, okay, so here we go. Okay, we definitely have a shooter change over here, so maybe that's what we did. We also have a non-functioning intake, it seems. Always good to see stuff like that. And yeah, it's just a complete mess over here. And oh, we do have electrical board change here, but yep, upside down electrical board. But you guys get what I mean. So you do your changes in branches in case you're too scared to change the main, or you're not sure if your main design is better than the new design that you're coming up with, and then you can always merge it into main when you need to. And you can make as many branches as you want. You can branch the branch if you want. So if I go to you can only branch versions, by the way. So if you, let's branch this version, and then we can create a branch off the branch, and then we create a version of this. Then we can branch off the branch of the branch. So you can just keep going on forever, and then you can merge it back to main once you're done. So this way, many people can work on the same like documents and stuff without interfering with each other. That's a pretty cool concept, right? So we don't have to wait for someone else to finish their work. Someone can just be working on main, and you can just be working on your subassembly in a separate branch, and then just merge them all together, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, that's basically merging. Well, that's basically version control in a nutshell. And just keep in mind that I want descriptions for everything. And that's because if you look over here, and also titles, please. Why, or at least if you're not putting a title, then I'm assuming that the version is just something that you're doing for just saving the overall document. So current, at least I put here before eradicating old design. So I just completely got rid of our entire design. So yeah, so I made a version here for before I got rid of the old design, then made a branch to change that design, and then I merged it back into main, right? So that's how it should work. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that's basically versioning in a nutshell.